Hello friends, it's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. It is late in the afternoon, the sun just set, and I am about to dig into my Dephemerember prompt for today. And I am limited on time, so I'm going to really try to keep this as short as I possibly can, but I have this big idea in my head, so we'll see how that happens. I've had an amazing day. I'm being featured in a magazine this month, and Strawberry Moon magazine, and it came out today, and that was just super exciting to me. And then I got an amazing care package from my cousin Sue, which I'll put a video on that up because I usually open her boxes on camera because they're fun and I like to share it with her. And now I'm crashing because I had such a up day that now I'm on my way down. So inside the care package was this little Kinder Happy Hippo biscuit. I have never heard of this before. It's hazelnut. I have no idea where it's from. It says crispy wafer biscuit with a milky hazelnut filling. And I don't know if it is from the United States or not. I have no idea where they come from. I just know it is being shared with me by my wonderful cousin. And I'm thinking this is not from America. So if anybody has ever seen these Happy Hippo biscuits, please tell me. Oh my, this is not what I expected. Oh my gosh. Look how cute. Oh my gosh. We don't have a hippo day, or I would have taken it out on a hippo day. Oh my gosh, that is so adorable. And I have hazelnut coffee, so this is like a really, oh my gosh. Wow. That is really good. Very sweet, very crispy, very adorable. I have no idea where this comes from, but wow, now I'm getting perked up. Holy moly, that's a good snack. Thank you, Sue. All right, I'm going to put this aside and have a bite in a minute. Okay. So today's prompt number 5 is a number or sentiment and ticket. So it really got me thinking today about what I wanted to do, what I wanted my storyline to be about. I was happy to see it was the bee today, and I am not going to look for a different bee because I absolutely love the bee that Luise provided for us. And when I found out it was a ticket, it was an absolutely perfect time for me to make use of these amazing tickets that I created using Luise's Jazz Up Your Scrap technique, which I will post below. I will post her video on jazzing up the scraps, and then I'll post a video I did earlier in the year where I made these tickets. These are literally those really plain white raffle tickets you buy at the craft store that you use at like fundraisers. They're not at all interesting, and Luise's technique makes them really cool. And I've kind of been hoarding them because I loved how they came out and they just made me happy. And I think I'm going to use them today. And I have a little idea of what I may do. So I'm going to pull these 2 strips. I'm going to put these aside. So that will be my ticket, and there's clearly numbers on there, so I don't even have to do any more numbers if I don't want to. But we'll see if I do. So I already have the tickets, and I'm not going to make the tickets like a lot of people are making because, number 1, other people are making tickets in their videos, so that's great. And number 2, I really want you to go look at Luise's Jazz Up Your Scraps video if you haven't seen it because it's really good. Okay. So there's the tickets. I'm going to try to cover that light mark for now so it's not reflecting up to you. I had an idea. I had my storyline. First of all, I think Luise and Barbara are being so generous to me, to you, to everybody, with their challenge, but also their goodies, their freebies, their time, their effort. And that generosity is so evident. Now, on top of their generosity, I had this amazing box from my cousin, and she is so generous. So all I've been thinking about today is generosity. And when I looked at the bee, I was like, how can I incorporate generosity into my storyline today? And I thought, you know what is happening is Luise and Barbara are being generous with what they create with us. They're being generous with their creativity, what they make. My cousin Sue, she's generous with what she makes with me. She's a bookmaker and she's so generous. So what would a bee be generous about? Well, a bee would be generous about honey because they make honey. And who would they be generous with? Well, maybe they would be generous to a bear. Maybe they would be so appreciative that the bear left their hive alone all summer, that right before the fall, when the bear really needed to get chubby and the bees were about to hibernate, they invited the bear over for some honeycomb. They were creative with they were generous with what they create. So that is what my page is about today. I'm going to have my bees, or the bees, invite the bear with a ticket to come and dine on honeycomb. So now I need a bear. So I went online and looked for an image of a bear. And then I kind of played with the levels of it, really pulled down the contrast so that it was just a black and white image. And then I printed it on craft paper. And my thought is that I am going to have the bee delivering the ticket to the bear, because as you can see, I need, for some reason, during Dephemerember, I want a storyline. So I'm going to cut out this bear. So the reason I cut him out first is I need to find out what page he's going to fit on. So let's see if I can figure this out. I might need a 2-page spread on this one. And I'm also considering maybe making him a tuck spot. I don't know. I'm thinking a center page would be a really interesting place to do it because there's so much room for the storyline. He would still have to be on one side, and I don't know if I want the bee to be up here. I kind of like that it looks like he's looking at the bee. But it also could be that the bee is coming from behind. I don't know. I'm going to have to play around with it and see how it works. I also could have the bear's head only half like this and have the bee up here. I don't know. I haven't decided. There's 2 center pages. I have that center page, and then I have this center page, but it's brown on brown, not enough contrast. So I think I probably should do this page, and if it turns out only to be a half, I can substitute this somewhere else in the book. So I'm going to take this out and go from there. Okay, so I know my storyline a little bit, so I'm just going to see if I can work with some of the pieces. I think I need to cut out the bee. Okay, so now that the bee is cut out, I have to decide where he goes. Oh, how cute would it be on the middle of his nose? Or I kind of like him over his head, but I don't really know. Then I could use just half of his face, like he's peeking up. There's so many decisions, you know, and I scrutinize it as if I am entering this into a contest. It's just for me. So I really don't need to overthink it. This whole prompt is a exercise in overthinking today, trying to figure out, do I want to put the tickets under the bee? Where do I want to put it? Do I want to put it on this side? Weighing all the options. It just seems to be like so many decisions. Sometimes when you're unsure, you just need to get going. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some splatters and paint to the back here. Let me work on the bear first. I was thinking what I might do is add a little bit of color to the bear, make him a little bit more interesting. So I thought I might add some watercolor. So this is craft paper. It's a little bit thicker than regular paper, and I'm using the Eco Tank printer, so the black ink should stay pretty much in place, but I won't be surprised if it bleeds a little, and that's okay. I wouldn't mind if it has a little bit of a watercolor kind of oxide look to it. So I'm just adding colors to highlight on his nose, his forehead. I'm adding 2 or 3 different kinds of browns. I'm adding black and I'm adding yellow. And truth be told, this whole entire page took more than any page I've done so far. So I know that you guys just can't stick with that kind of time. I can't do that kind of editing. So let's just cut to the chase. Let's see what the final product looks like once I've added the watercolor throughout the bear. This didn't take too long, maybe 10, 15 minutes tops, and it was kind of fun to do, but nobody needs to watch all of that. So after it's done, I'm just going to take it away and let it dry. I didn't do the bottom half because I don't think I'm going to use the entire bear. I think I'm just going to use a little bit on the chest. So let's put it over to dry. And let's see what's next. Cleaning up, that's what's next. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of drying in this project, so I'm going to be making pieces of it. And this is going to be a belly band, and I want to put the ticket in the B on top of it, but I feel like because of the colors that exist in the ticket in the B already, they won't stand out enough. So I'm taking a stippling brush and I'm taking some gesso that I tinted with an acrylic paint, and I'm just making sort of a soft, I don't know what I would call it, kind of a cloud-like texture in areas. I'm going to be adding lots of details on this, but I just need to have some light areas so that the dark areas will stand out, and I need to have a background that allows the bee and the ticket to show up. Okay, now that that is dry, I'm going to just start playing around with the bee and the tickets. I don't know how many tickets I want to use. I want the bee to be carrying the ticket. I want the bee to be flying through the air carrying the ticket. So I have to decide how many I'm going to use. And I noticed that it's just not light enough. The ticket's still not standing out enough. So I'm going to add another layer of light background so that I can make sure that that ticket will stand out. So in my mind, the bee is carrying the ticket around its little legs, and the first bee I cut out wasn't backed, and it's too flimsy. So I back this one with some cardstock. That way, when I cut it out, it's going to be stronger. I mean, I realize the bee's not going to be really flying through the air carrying a ticket, although that would be super cool, wouldn't it? But I do need it to be strong enough to have, the little baker's twine go around its little legs and that kind of thing. So I really do need to have it stronger. So what you're seeing me do now is do some splatters all over the belly band, some browns, a lot of the colors that I used in the bear, I'm having done there. And then I'm going to take my script. I'm going to put a little bit of script. Script always goes well in a background. Just lightly going to put it here and there. And now that the backing is dry, I'm going to cut out the bee. And I'm just going to cut right to the chase. Nobody needs to see me cut it out. The sad thing is, even with all these edits, this video is going to still be way too long as far as what I would like it to be shorter for you guys. So I'll do my best to make it as short as possible and cut where I can. So after I do the belly band, I realize I really need splatters on other parts of the page. So I mask over the belly band area, and I think maybe I'll just do splatters on the edge. I'll have splatters on the edge and then splatters on the belly band. But then when I look at it, I realize I kind of need the splatters all over the page. It's just not enough to have it on one side for balance purposes. So now I'm just going in and taking those same colors and doing splatters. And that's fine. It works really well, and the colors in the bear are the same ones in the splatter. And now I am putting whites in the bear's eye, and I realize that I can totally make his eyes look like he's looking in a certain direction. Of course, I picked the wrong direction, so now I have to color him in black again. And once they're dry, I'll give it another shot. So now I'm putting down the ticket on the top of the belly band and gluing that on. And I have these cute little brads that look like little white flowers. And not brads, eyelets. And I'm just going to, pop the holes in them, put the brads, why am I calling them brads? Put the eyelets in and then set them. And I love this eyelet setter. It's my absolute favorite. You can put it anywhere, does so many different sizes. So now the eyelets are set, and now my bee is going to be carrying this little ticket. So I know that what I need to do is make sure that the baker's twine is attached on its belly so that it all stays in place when it's glued down. So I'm going to put some glue on its underneath side and let that dry so that that string is secure and it won't wiggle out. And then I'm going to loop it around the legs. And then once it's dry, I will put it through the eyelets and tie it. So now I'm going to try making the right eyes. And you can see a little note in the bottom left-hand corner where I make a little sketch of what eyes look like looking up as like a guide, because I don't know why I couldn't picture it in my head, like where the white was and where the black was. But I needed to make my little silly drawing, and now I'm just going to paint the eyes of the bear so that the bear is looking up towards the bee that's carrying the ticket, and it's totally going to work. It was a decent idea to print off this bear and then paint it and add to it, because it doesn't even look, it looks a lot less realistic than it did when I printed it off, and it blends well with the vibe of the bees. So I'm really glad that I did that. So there are a couple things that I thought I filmed and I didn't, like putting this little piece of sari silk on with a stapler and securing the belly band at the top. I was turning the camera on and off so many times that there are a few times that it didn't make it on and I was filming, but there isn't anything that I'm doing that is that crazy. So I'm putting on the glue for the tuck spot, the bear tuck spot, and I'm going around the edge. And I think because the bear was watercolored, it's buckled slightly, the paper, and it's really going to need to be worked down that edge to really make sure it stays put. I'm going to burnish it with a really old bone folder that's seen better days, and just really work that ink around the edge so that it's a good seal. And that's what you're seeing me do right here. Just burnishing it on, making sure it's set. And I want to glue enough that it is a tuck spot, but I don't want to glue so much that you can't get something inside of it. So that is almost done. You just have to put pressure on it sometimes. And then it'll be ready to be a tuck spot. And I got a little bit of glue on the paper. I don't know if you know about these like rubber gum erasers. They will take off dried Fabri-Tac, and they're $1 at the dollar store, and they work pretty awesome. I forgot who told me that, but I'm very grateful they did. Okay, so now it's like little detail time. I'm taking a black pen and just making the antenna and that one little leg that fell off. I'm just redrawing that in. Just those little tiny details just to get the bees to look the best that they can. I'm going to staple the bottom of the belly band, so that's all set now, and I have to trim off the excess. And now this is pretty much the base, and now we're just going to add details. I take one of my scraps and make a corner tuck spot, and I add 2 more tickets and a B because, well, why not? I'm trying to get this whole page to feel cohesive, and I'm trying to use the scraps that I made so that it all blends together and feels cohesive. So I'm going to use a ticket as the top of the tag, and I have a stamp that makes a circle, and I'm going to put that in. I was thinking I could write something in the center, but then when I do that, I realize there's not any contrast in the center. So I find a piece of artwork that will go, and that one, the yellow one, I'm not feeling it. And then I'm going to take some of the remainder gesso that's in my palette and use my finger tool. And I'm just going to paint the outside or the inside of the circle. And I think that I thought I would take a black pen and write a sentiment in my own handwriting. The problem is that once you put gesso down, you can't really write on gesso with those micro pens. It kind of ruins the tip, so I had to use a pencil. But it's okay. This is just for fun anyhow. Okay, so now I'm going to do some final details. I have my Stabilo pencil that I'm going to come in and draw around the bear and the tickets and use some water to blend it in, make it look a little bit softer. I'm going to take my white gel pen and add some gel scribbles and some gel highlights around the ticket and on the side of the belly band. And I'm just going to continue to give a little dimension to this project. I'll take some of the Stabilo pen up in the corner where the tickets are and do it around the tickets. Makes them stand out a little bit more. And I'm just putting the final details on the project. And it's amazing how little tiny details like this can add layers and make a project look done. So I'm just doing those last center details. Making those tags stick out. Adding a little bit of water. You got to know when to stop. The only thing that I wish I had included in this project that I didn't is the words "you're invited" on the little tag the bee is carrying. I was hoping I had one that I could rubber stamp, but I didn't, and my handwriting is just not good enough to do it. So I'm implying that it's a ticket to a function for the bear, but I would have liked to have put you're invited on it, just to make it clear. And at some point, I'm going to feel like this is enough. But apparently that time is not now because I keep fussing and, touching and, I think there has to be a rule. This is why I like to time myself sometimes, because if I time myself, then I know, okay, this is it. This is as much as I've gotten done, and we're just calling it a day. So anyway, you're seeing me just trying to decide if I'm done. All right, let's be done, Michelle. Let's be done. And I think I am. Yay, finally. So now I'm going to write around the tag. And again, I'm sure there is a product out there that can write on top of paint or gesso. And for you guys out there who are more experienced in this, please put it in the comments below, because I'd really love to know what pen I could have written on top of it with. And I just kind of make up my own sentiment. I think it's, be generous with your time and your creativity and your joy and your kindness. Just what I was feeling that day. That I was grateful for all the generosity that I was getting in my life from other people. And I put that tag behind the bear, and let's put it now in the book. This is, I think, the most exciting part, because putting it in the book, you really get to see what it looks like. On the table, it's not quite as good. So I'm going to slide it in, and there's my bee and bear. And I'm going to put my Dephemerember in there, and I got the tag in there, and I think I'm pretty happy with it. I have the tags in the corner and the bees. It's not 100% what I had in my mind, and that's sometimes what happens, right? In our head, we think we're going to make something, and then when it doesn't come out exactly the right way, it's a little disappointing. I wanted that bee and the ticket to be a little bit more effective. But this is an idea book, and I will use this as inspiration for that idea for sure. And this is just for me. And I really like the idea of painting the bear. So that was a good win for me. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope that you enjoyed seeing everything that I did with the bear and the bee and the ticket and the sentiment, and I can't wait to see you again tomorrow. And since I recorded this in the evening and it was dark, I will send you off with a few views of the book in natural daylight where it shows the colors a little bit more accurately. Hope you have a great day today, guys, and I'll see you soon.